Hello everybody, welcome back to the show. Today's episode, I'm going to work on creating a system that will allow me to use creepers and Martian Mafia as the source of life power for my blood altar. So the first step in that is I've created a sort of a holding chamber, holding pen, if you will. And to show you how this is going to work, let's head over to the factory, and down in the basement of the factory I have created for myself some spawning rooms. This one spawns skeletons, this one spawns the endermen, and this one is going to spawn the creepers. So it works the same when you turn it on. The creepers are spawned. Now of course the way I have it set up right now isn't particularly ideal, but let me kill off these guys real quick, like so. This is the soul vial, and it's from the EnderIO mod, and it allows you to capture a mob by simply right-clicking on it, which I may be able to do through the corner. Nope, I have to do this like this. Don't want them to explode on me. There we go. And so now I've captured, as you can see, I have a soul vial and has a creeper inside of it. Soul vials are used by EnderIO for various things. The primary use is you can turn a spawner into a different to spawn a different kind of a mob by using the soul vial, and capturing endermen in the soul vial also allows you to make various things that are required by EnderIO. But as I said, so the soul vial does have a creeper inside of it, and I can go here to my little holding chamber and put the creeper inside there, as you can see, and he's kind of in there. And now if I get too close, he can kind of see me if I'm like that, so that's why I'm staying back a little bit. So now, if I use my divination sigil on the altar, you'll see I have 2,250 life power. The dagger of sacrifice, as I mentioned before, is a one-hit kill. So all I have to do is kill this guy on top of the altar, like so. And now you can see the altar has 2,750 life power. So I get 500 life power from killing the creeper or Martian Mafia within this little chamber. Now of course it would be a bit on the ridiculous side for me to go back and forth from this spawner with creeper souls in vials, so that's obviously not how I'm going to do it. So let me work on the next step. One of the things that I need for my build is a cactus, but if you look at my map here with the exploration that I have done, I haven't found any deserts. Now granted, I haven't done a lot of exploration, but in what I have done, no desert, which of course means inability to find a cactus. Fortunately, Botania has a solution for me with its alchemy abilities. Remember, I have this mana pool set on top of an alchemy catalyst, and it turns out that if I drop in a slime ball, it will turn it into a cactus. And so now I have cactus for my build. Okay, so this is the next step, hopefully, of course, if it works. What I've got going on here is this is a dimensional transceiver, which is set to receive through, let me start over, that is an ender rail on top of it. And an ender rail placed on top of a dimensional transceiver will transport minecarts back and forth between a matching one. So here I have it receiving on a minecart channel through it will receive minecarts off of the minecart channel that are traveling on these ender rails. The minecart, as you can see, comes down this way. It activates this activator rail, which will send a pulse. It goes through this repeater here that has just a slight delay. When the minecart hits this cactus, it will break and get sucked up by this vacuum chest here. In the newest Minecraft version 1.8, you can use an activator rail to eject a mob or something from a minecart, but since I'm still in 1.7.10, I can't do that. So theoretically what this should do is the minecart will have a mob in it, and the minecart will activate this activator rail as it comes down. Then it hits the cactus, which breaks the minecart, sending the minecart back into the system, and hopefully then this piston will push the mob over into the holding chamber, which I showed before. Let's go down to here, see this side of it. And so what happens is, when the minecart's broken and sucked up by the vacuum chest, it gets sent back down through here to this dimensional transceiver, which is set to receive on an item channel for minecarts. That minecart will then go through the item conduits into this dispenser. The dispenser has a comparator set on it so that if it detects an item in the dispenser, it activates the comparator, which sends a signal back to the dispenser saying for it to dispense the item in there, which of course is the minecart. And then the minecart goes down to this ender rail, which is set on top of this dimensional transceiver, which is set to send on the minecart channel. So you can see what it's doing. It's making a loop. The minecarts come through here, and of course this is above, or this is below the spawner for the creepers. So obviously the idea is going to be the creepers will spawn, they will get picked up by this minecart, and then get sent over to the altar where I will be able to use them to fill my altar with life power. So now that that is the basics of it, let me finish making the rest of this and seeing if it actually works the way it's supposed to. Okay, the first part of this test will be, of course, to see if the spawning part of it works correctly. Now the idea, of course, the creepers will spawn in here, water will push them to that center chamber where they drop down, where hopefully a minecart will be able to pick them up. Now one thing I'm not sure about is if they will stop the minecart from moving, which is one thing that I'm a little bit worried about. Looks like it took that creeper. Looks like it took that creeper. And that guy, for whatever reason, is being stubborn and not falling down there. But that's okay for now. There he goes, he fell down. So far it seems to be okay. I'm still going to have to watch it because I still think it's possible that the creepers could end up stopping the cart from moving somehow. And in fact, I think that may have just happened. So I'm going to have to adjust this. Doesn't work quite as well as I had hoped. Now, if we go back up here, hopefully there aren't creepers just all over the place. No, looks like there's a creeper right there. But I know I transported more than one, yet I only see one in there. So that's not a good sign either. Let me go ahead and take care of him, if I can. Oops, there we go. He's gone, and that's it. I suppose it's possible they would not have run off of the edges of these cliffs. So it's probably possible that they may have despawned because I was too far away, which isn't ideal, but that is something that's solvable with a chunk loader. But let me fix the stoppage of the minecart problem first. Alright, so what I've done is I've moved the rail line to be 1 block away from where the creepers drop into that little hole there. And so it does appear, I've been letting it run for a little while now, it does appear to be working. You can just kind of barely see the creeper being taken off there by the cart. There it goes, the third one there. And so it does seem to work. This way the creepers are not on the track itself, so they can't block the cart. And the cart is going by next to them, and it does seem to be picking them up. I think that there's the possibility that it won't always pick one up, but I think once there's a lot of them kind of mingling in that little hole, that they'll just kind of get pushed into the area where the cart is. Back up here, you should be able to see this working. As again, the cart comes and it gets broken by the cactus, and then the piston there pushes the creeper off of that area and into the holding area for the blood altar. And as you can see, then the cart gets sucked back into the vacuum chest, which gets sent back in through the dimensional transceiver. So it's only, there's only one minecart, which, is obviously, there might be possibilities to have more than one, but I think that, honestly, I think that that's sufficient for right now. As you can see, there's already quite a buildup. Oh, that was bad. Oh, what the heck happened there? I broke the wrong thing. Well, well. Well. And well. Okay, so, that was a bad idea. Let me... Oh, I don't even know what all was lost. My vacuum chest might be gone. Oh my goodness. All right, back to the drawing board. Let me figure out what I screwed up. All right, let me try this again. The system is the same. I haven't changed anything. I've enclosed it a bit more, so hopefully the Enderman can't see me. So to start off with, let me get a baseline reading of how much life power I have in here. 700. Okay. And just gotta make sure these guys don't blow up, basically. Ooh, like that guy was just about to blow. Alright. And so now what do I have? 7,200. That was pretty good. So the system, I think, does work the way that I want it to work. It supplies me with creepers that I can then use the Dagger of Sacrifice on it and fill up my blood altar with life power. Great. Pretty good. Of course, I don't necessarily think I like the idea of standing here and killing these guys one at a time by myself. So I'm going to automate this process even further. Before I go, the explosion that happened earlier was pretty expensive to me. It blew up my blood altar. I had to rebuild that. It blew up 6 of these runes, so I had to rebuild that in order to get back to a tier 2 altar. It blew up my vacuum chest, and the ender rail got blown up, which is fairly expensive to make as well. So rebuilding all this stuff took a little bit, but it's now done. And I have a system to generate life power. But as I said, I'm going to work on automating this process even farther. All right, now this should not take you by surprise. I'm going to use a drone. That's right. I discovered that the drone will work on an attack entity command with the Dagger of Sacrifice. So this drone has been programmed to come to this chest, take out the Dagger of Sacrifice, go over and use it on any entities that might be in that area right above the altar, and then come back, put the Dagger of Sacrifice back, and then wait for it to happen again. And standard here charging system, I've got the flux compressor creating the pressure. Here is a charger so that the drone will be able to charge itself back up. And I've got the pressure gauge module with the advanced PCB so that it will shut off the flux compressor when it gets to a little bit over 15 bars of pressure, keeping it with enough pressure in the entire system. There's the power that comes in from the dimensional transceiver there. Now, when I go to expand this altar out, some of these elements may have to be moved around, and I know that that may be a possibility, but for now, things seem to be okay. I'll go ahead and let my drone loose, and it will wait because obviously there's nothing to kill right now. I don't have the spawner turned on, so let's go do that. We'll go down in here, turn the spawner on, just make sure that it starts spawning some of the creepers, and they get sent down into that hole there. There they go. Looks like they kind of bunch up a little bit, but they eventually go, as you see there. So if I come back here and watch it, we should see the creepers get thrust into that area, and then there comes my buddy the drone and slays the entities that are in there, in this case the creepers. So if we check the altar, I've got 6,000 life power in it right now. There's a creeper. There's 2 creepers. Here comes the drones eventually. There it is. And kills those things. There was 3 of them, so I should be up to about 7,500. There you go, 7,500 life power. So now I have what amounts to an automated system that will generate the life power I need in the blood altar. And I think that is pretty cool. So the next thing I want to be able to do is automate the creation of items within the altar itself. For example, these blank slates. Now normally what is entailed is right click on the altar with a stone, wait the time it takes to turn it to a blank slate, then right click to take the blank slate out. Obviously that's time consuming. I don't want to have to sit here and do that for potentially hundreds of blank slates because they are needed for other things that are made within this mod. So you can of course use tubes, conduits, pipes, what have you, to pipe things directly into the blood altar itself, and that's what I'm doing here. And if you look here, you'll see that I have it set to insert on the green channel, extract on the brown channel, and only extract blank slates. So what I want is to be able to put, you know, a bunch of stone in here and have it be turned into the blank slates. But if I do this, what you'll see is that there's more. Look, it keeps putting them in there. So oops, let me take them out. Oops, gotta move stuff here. So you can see it put all 21 of them directly into the altar. And that's bad for a number of reasons. The first reason is because even though you can't manually put in more than one at a time, it can be fed more than one at a time if you're using pipes or conduits or tubes. When you put one stone in there, it takes 1,000 life power and a certain amount of time to make it into a blank slate. If you put 4 stone in there, it's going to take 4,000 life power and 4 times as long to make all of those into 4 blank slates. It doesn't make them one at a time. If it made it one at a time, it would be fine, but it doesn't. It tries to do the entire batch, and if you don't have enough life power, then the whole batch fails, and that's the problem. So what I need is a way to only put in 1 stone at a time. And I'm doing that with these omnidirectional hoppers from PneumaticCraft, as well as some redstone conduit from EnderIO. And I do have a bit of a frame rate issue, which I'm not sure what's causing that. I will have to research that and figure it out later. Anyway, so what happens here is the omnidirectional hoppers are actually a little bit slower than normal hoppers, I think. Now I could be wrong on that, but it turns out if I give it a real quick pulse, it will only extract 1 item. And so I can set this omnidirectional hopper to only work on a signal like that. And so how this works is if I put stone in here now, it's not going to do anything because it has to have a way to start. What happens is once the stone gets made into a slate, it gets extracted to this chest. When this chest has an item in it, it will set off this comparator. That comparator then sends a signal through these redstone conduits to this hopper, which will take out that blank slate and put it into here, and will also send a redstone signal to this one, which will tell it to take out a stone from this chest and run it back into the blood altar. And so what occurs is it will do then 1 item at a time. Now, of course, the problem with it is there's nothing in there to start it, and I can start it real easily by just putting essentially any item into this chest, and it kind of starts the process going. So now you can see that there is a stone, 1 stone, that was taken from here. You see there's 20 left there. So 1 stone taken from here. There's the 1 slate that I put in there to start things with, and there's the slate that just got made. You can see another one is now in the altar, and there's 19. So this will go through the stone in this chest one at a time, turning them into blank slates and putting them over here until it runs out. And that's how I can make 1 at a time without me having to be here. I can walk away from it. In fact, if anything, I need to go turn on, the spawner. There we go, get you guys going so we can get some life power in the system. And there we have it. I've got essentially what amounts to a mostly automated system. Life power is automatically created through the use of the drone there to kill the mobs on top of the altar. The altar is using that life power to turn stone into blank slates. Of course, I will use it to make other things as well later on. And now I can work towards further upgrading my altar to further tiers, and of course the next step being tier 3. And I would like to thank a YouTuber by the name of, well, it is XAW4, and I don't know if that's pronounced Zoffer? Probably not. But XAW4 did a video on how he used EnderIO to automate his blood altar, which really helped me out because it pointed out quite a few things to me that I didn't know about, and I've changed it a little bit because I have access to omnidirectional hoppers, which can sort of shorten things up a little bit. But as you can see, this system works to process one item at a time, and I think that's really, really cool. I'll put a link to XAW4's video in the description of my video to let him know and to thank him for pointing out how to make this system work better for myself. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Well, I do believe that's going to do it for this episode. Hopefully, I haven't gone too short or too long. I haven't actually looked at the time of the video, but I've managed to get my blood altar set up to automatically create life power as well as automatically create the necessary items I need, which were the big steps that I wanted to have done for this particular episode. So I think that's been successful. There's one slight problem I believe in at this point in time, which is the fact that this is going to need to be faster. And right now, you know, it's doing what it can as far as the spawner is spawning the creepers, but I need to put an octadic capacitor into that spawner. And doing that means it's going to use a lot of power. I don't exactly know how much, probably in the thousands is going to be my guess. Let me look at it real quick. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Ooh, well, I'm gonna have to rebuild all of that. That's great. I didn't realize there was a guy back there. Plus I hit the wrong button. Oh goodness. Okay, well anyway, rebuilding time will come up. Anyway, going back. Why is this vexing me so badly? All right, so as it stands with no capacitor, it uses 240 RF per tick. I believe I tried putting in the second tier capacitor, and that brought it up to about 650. So I think the octadic capacitor is going to bring it well into the thousands. Let me see if I have one laying around. I do not. Okay. So it's going to run this up into the thousands, and I'm probably not generating quite enough power. So in the next episode, I believe I'm going to set up something to generate more power. I think that's a good use of my time, because that's going to be something I'm definitely going to need. But as I said, that's going to do it for this episode. As always, I thank you for joining me, and let me know what you think of blood magic, my blood altar, my automation, anything you might have any comments on. Leave them for me in the comments below. If you have questions, of course, feel free to ask away. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.